Episode 16, the crescendo, the end all of the be all before the finale. Let's get into it. So the current bottom couples are Garby and Casey, Josh and Andrea, and Johnny and Gabby. And what I didn't mention in episode 15 was there was like a little break in the alliance between Johnny, Ty, and Toby. That's how Johnny got in the bottom. I forgot to mention that last time. Johnny got in the bottom because the majority of the people voted for him because they were trying to get him out, and the people who voted for him was Isaiah. Yeah, because I was like, what I'm talking about? They don't know why they mad at Isaiah. Oh yeah, they do, because Isaiah had to show his allegiance to Josh, and he decided, him and Lucinda decided to vote for Johnny in the last episode. So in this episode, episode 16, they're basically groveling back and basically saying sorry, apologizing, and Johnny's saying, I'm coming for you. I'm here for you. Like, you're going to get it. Like, at the end of the day, because you put me up for the vote. And there's also some turmoil between Toby and Ty, because, again, I didn't mention this last episode. I'm so caught up in the Garby stuff, is that Ty and Toby have been friends since, elementary school, basically, their whole lives. And Ty turned his back because he wanted to split the vote fairly between Johnny and Toby because he didn't want to mess up his alliance. And in the gameplay, he kind of disappointed his best friend and put him in an awkward position of, like, distrusting his friend because he thought if anybody had his back, it would be Ty, because at the end of those games, Toby was one of the final four in the bottom, vulnerable. But then the way Ty split the vote is they had to go up against each other. He could either voted wholeheartedly for Johnny, wholeheartedly for Toby, but he split his vote up so that each of them would have one more chance. He made it a tie to be in the game. So he kind of made it fair, and Toby was pissed off because he's like, fair? I'm your boy. Like, the odds should be forever in my favor, bruh. And so, understandably so, like, I understand why Toby was mad 100%. But I also understand from a gameplay perspective why Ty did what he did. And this goes back to what Justine had to do with her best friend in the last season. She turned her back on him. And everybody's like, that's what Johnny was talking about. I seen Justine betray her best friend. Yeah. The guy Ray, and her and Ray, both from Jersey, both on Perfect Match. They were like really close. They'd had the same season. So when she did that, like, that's why Johnny don't really trust her like that. And you probably shouldn't. Good for her. Clock it. Anyway, so that's what Ty was trying to say. I know I'm betraying my best friend a little bit, but at the same time, I'm putting him in a position to make it fair to my alliance. And that's how he was thinking, but from a game perspective, it's good. But Justine, if you see, she's like, no, don't do that, because she already know the damage it could do to a real friendship in real life, because she's done that. So she was trying to convince him to just vote for Toby, I'm assuming. I don't know. But he ended up splitting his vote, which to me, in the gameplay of it all, was the right thing to do. Like, in terms of, like, friendship, not obviously not the right thing to do. But what do you think? So Toby is on his whole spiel saying you had half my back, you didn't really have my back in the title. But brother, it worked out in the end, He don't want to hear none of that. Toby's over it. And it's so funny because in the same breath, like literally like a scene or two later, Johnny is in the room with them, and Ty is explaining himself again very apologetically. And Johnny was like, it was fair to me. Of course it was fair to you, because you didn't know him since you was 5 years old. So there's a big Garby filled hole in the villa that we could feel. She put a big dent between Sydney and Toby. She did her big one, which obviously kind of shook up the alliance a little bit. So right now, going into the duel, we have Isaiah and Lucinda trying to figure out which side of the alliance are they going to be in. Are they going to rock with Josh and Andrea, or are they going to rock with Johnny and Gabby and them? So at the end of the day, Isaiah said, look, Lucinda, because Johnny said, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to get your neck because you came for me in the last game, which was wrong. So he said, look, Lucinda, I think in order for us to make it to the next round, we need to rock with the Johnny and them alliance. You know what I'm saying? Not the Josh and them alliance, because at the end of the day, they have the numbers. Which I will say worked in Isaiah's favor, because this game was the basketball. We're playing basketball. It was that kind of game. And to me, did you see that this whole thing was teed up for Chris to win? Like, all he had to do is, this is like his redemption arc, and he broke his little pinky finger. Poor guy. I mean, literally, they had the sponsors, the NFL, NBA. And they had the NFL earlier in the season, too. Like, this literally was made for Chris. So, here's the game. Now, we have this basketball where whoever has the least amount of balls in their hoop loses the game. And, of course, there's an alliance. So, we have Gabby, we have Johnny, we have the Tys and the Tyreeks and the Tobys all taking Andrea and Josh's balls anytime they get one in the hoop. And Andrea, I feel bad because she's like, I do this. Who was shooting with me in the gym? I play basketball. I'm going to kill this game. Da, 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 da. But they killed her game because they were all in that alliance, like, gunning for them. They didn't even stand a chance. But in the next round, the producers, I guess they said, we got to fix it. They gave them an opportunity. So they said, whoever has the white ball at the end of this is immediately eliminated. Of course, the ball, once the game starts, the ball immediately goes to Josh and Andrea because everybody else is in alliance. And so they decide to have the tactic of, let's hold on to this ball and count 5 minutes, and let's do it in the last 45 seconds and put it in somebody else's so they don't have time to battle us back. That bit them in the butt, y'all. I'm so mad because I really was rooting for Josh in the end because even though he was arrogant and he got on my nerves, he was a winner chicken dinner, and I was supporting the wins. And Andrea wasn't bad either. Like, I was starting to really enjoy her on the show, so I'm kind of salty how it ended. So they lost count. They lost count. It was as simple as that. And they didn't realize that the 5 minutes had come up, the bell rung, and they were literally standing there with the white ball in their hand. Egg on their face. And I feel so bad because if you know Josh, he's so competitive. Any other situation, he would have dominated. But this one, it was about trying to fight your alliances, trying to maintain the time. You got Andrea asking him a million questions while he's trying to count. It was just too much going on. And that's the way the cookie crumbled. At first, I was like, oh, this is a really, really good, like, idea, like, what they're doing. But then when Andrea kept telling me, I lost count. And he's like, I was like, oh, it's a done deal. They should have just started. Once they lost count, they should have just started playing ball. But they didn't do that. And that was the end result of that. And I was really, really mad about it. And I told you from the beginning that girl Lucinda was playing ball. I said this in episode 1. And the thing is, everybody stopped playing because they saw that Josh and Andrea had that white ball and nobody wanted them to put the ball in theirs because whoever had the most balls, they would likely put their ball in there except Lucinda and Isaiah. Because in Josh and Andrea's mind, they just saved me the night before and they don't know that they're now aligning with the new team. The old team, I guess, the Johnny and them team. They think they're still on their team. So they're allowing them to build their balls as high as possible. And in the end, guess who ends up winning? Lucinda and Isaiah. Because nobody's watching them. That's what Kendall was talking about all along. That's what Johnny was talking about a lot. Everybody was saying that there's people who are going to skate to the top because nobody's watching them. And it literally happened. So that leaves Isaiah and Lucinda as the finalists for the next finale, and then it unfortunately leaves Andrea and Josh in the bottom, sending them home, and then immediately. And then we also have another vote by America, and we have to decide who are going into the mega duel. So, of course, in the end, the duo we didn't want in the bottom, the Justine and the Tys, the Toby and the Sydneys and the Johnny and the Gabbys are the bottom, the alliance, the trio, because they didn't keep their eyes on the prize. So I, of course, voted for Ty and Justine, and if you voted, it's over now because tonight is the finale. But if you enjoyed today's recap, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your girl, Nico Nicole, and this has been Give This Girl a Mic. If you're watching here on TikTok, don't forget to hit the follow button. Now, child, now let's go watch this finale and see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll see you in the next one.